Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris is now on the Audacy app and Audacy.com.
Now, it's time for Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Here's your host, Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Glad you're with us. Also want to give condolences to the late Tony Mercurio. May his memory be eternal. Sonny Dearth, longtime colleague, sports writer, copy editor for the Daily Press. He's joined us on radio and TV shows and games since the 80s and 90s and the 21st century. Sonny, how are you, my friend?
Oh, thanks a lot. Great to be here.
A lot of stuff going on this spring. Let's do a NBA playoffs analysis so far. LA is already down 0-2.
Yeah. I mean, Game 2 was just a thriller. It looked like the Lakers had it for much of the night, but they couldn't quite come back. And also having a heartbreaking loss, the Philadelphia 76ers against the Knicks. Just a miraculous finish. One of the most electric moments at Madison Square Garden in years.
And the Knicks are doing very well. And, of course, it just shows you, folks, an 82-game season takes its toll on these NBA athletes, and a lot of their bodies are just breaking down.
You know, hopefully they can learn to deal with that. But now the load management is over. It's time for everybody to play as many minutes as they can.
Exactly, because it's pretty much, in some cases, it'll be one and done. If you get down 0-3 or something like that, best of 7 series for the most part. Talking to Sonny Dearth. Sonny, your thoughts, too, on the whole UConn winning back-to-back and, of course, Caitlin Clark.
Well, first, UConn has just done a phenomenal job managing the new era of college basketball. You know, props to Danny Hurley. They really were the best team just about all season, and they were absolutely dominant in the NCAA tournament. And Caitlin Clark's not the first great player, but she seems to be the cultural phenomenon that maybe some other players of equal stature were not. She's really exciting to play. This might surprise most people, but as good a shooter as she is, I think she's an even more exciting passer. She hopefully will lift the WNBA to higher ratings.
Of course, great TV exposure. I've worked 3 WNBA games. They're a lot of fun, and they're a lot more fun in person as well. So she'll be an exciting watch as well when it gets right there to it in the heart of the season. Of course, the Olympics going on this summer as well. Sonny, of course, you talk about that, but also baseball is heating up too. Give us your thoughts so far on the Braves in the National League.
Yeah, they started very well, even losing Spencer Strider to an injury for the year. They certainly have had enough depth to overcome that. The Dodgers certainly are going to be there in the end, no doubt about that. The Central's wide open. In the East, the Yankees and the Orioles have started out really well in the American League. The Cleveland Guardians have played very well early. I don't know if that is going to continue, but great start for them. And the West is just about anybody's. You know, Texas is in the lead, I believe, but you know, even the Rangers couldn't maintain the pace they set last year in the playoffs when they came into the playoffs cold and left as World Series champions.
Absolutely, and of course it'll be interesting. It's still very early as far as baseball is concerned, but and of course the Tides did very well. We'll see how they evolve in 2024 after struggling earlier this season as well. Sonny, French Open coming up not too far away. Your thoughts on tennis? It seems like Nadal has been very injury-prone this year.
He's getting older, and it's difficult to compete. In my mind right now, the best player in the world is Jannik Sinner. Djokovic is still number 1 based on the last year, and there are plenty of contenders there. And the women's side, you know, it can be anybody among Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff could threaten. We'll see. It's you never know what to expect on the red clay, the terre battue.
Clay is such a great surface. Sonny played for James Madison. As we go around talking about different sports, and of course we mentioned tennis, and of course after the French it's the Wimbledon as well, then of course the U.S. Open. How about the American women's tennis scene, Sonny? Your thoughts on that?
It's had pretty good depth, you know, among Coco and Jessica Pegula. Good stuff. Lindsay Davenport is now captaining the Billie Jean King Cup team, and that's been good to see. Pretty high interest right now. I like it.
Very good. Of course, Scheffler doing so well, winning the Masters. He's just a dominant run. It's nice to see a player like that getting on a dominant run. Of course, Tiger Woods is no spring chicken. It's just amazing he even played the Masters. But Scheffler seems like he's really got his groove going on right now in golf.
Yeah, the numbers say he's the most dominant number 1 since the peak of Tiger.
Yeah.
And that's really saying something. And now the majors mean even more because it's the only time that all the best players are in the world, the best players in the world are playing in the same event. And what eventually has to happen is the PGA and the LIV Tour have to integrate to where there's a way to qualify for majors via both tours. But for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, golf is difficult enough with sponsors and tournaments and locations and, making the cut. And when you try to, there's only so much money to go around, but except for the Live Golf, they got endless money. But it's really better to have it under one body and for all of them to come together like they do in the majors as well. Sonny, your thoughts? You guys did very well. Your school did. James Madison in football and basketball, losing to Duke in basketball, but you lost both your football and basketball coaches, so it'll be interesting to see how Madison evolves with brand new coaches.
Huge credit to a guy who's retiring at the end of April, Jeff Bourne. The athletic director at JMU just had great hire after great hire. He brought in Kurt Signetti, and the Dukes were the best team in the Sun Belt last season. They couldn't win the championship just because of the transition rules, but they were in the top 25 for a while. Mark Byington coaching JMU in men's basketball, that was clearly the best season in program history. Equaled the best ever by getting to the round of 32, and that's with a lot more competition now than there was in 1982 and 83, and beating Michigan State and Wisconsin in the same year. I mean, there are a lot of Big Ten teams that can't say that. Certainly, understandably, is going to give the SEC a shot with Vanderbilt, but it seems like they have hired excellent coaches to replace him. In football, it's Bob Chesney out of Holy Cross, who was highly successful at the FCS level. In basketball, they hired Preston Spradlin, who took Morehead State to the NCAA tournament this year. He was kind of a guy who learned a lot under John Calipari, who, incredibly, has left Kentucky for Arkansas. So it's hard to plan long-term in college sports now. It's basically a year-by-year thing. You always have to know who the next guy on the list to hire, because if you're struggling, the coach might get fired. Unless you're at the absolute top, which right now seems to be the SEC and the Big Ten. The ACC is having a hard time competing financially, perhaps, despite their success on the field and court. So if you're struggling, somebody might get fired. And if you're successful, somebody can pay him double and take him away. So you really have to be figuring out who the next guy in line is, no matter what level you're at.
Sonny, finally wrap it up and give us your thoughts on college tennis and including the success of the CNU men's tennis team.
I'm affiliated with an organization called Cracked Rackets, which has done play-by-play a lot of times in podcasts and tennis. UVA's streak in the ACC ended. I believe they had won 62 consecutive matches against conference teams, and Florida State pulled off a miracle finish on Sunday to beat the Cavaliers. But they'll be a factor in the NCAA tournament. They'll still probably be seeded the top four. Old Dominion won the Sun Belt for the second year in a row. They've got a good thing going under Dominic Mueller. I've been doing play-by-play this year for the first time for Christopher Newport, where I've been a volunteer assistant for a while, and the captains are going to contend for the men's title and the women's title and have a great shot to be in the NCAA Division III tournament. So it's been a pretty fun year around here for tennis. William & Mary will have a shot to win the women's CAA, and they were quite competitive in the men's CAA, but lost in the semifinals. Now Warren had the Norfolk State Tennis Center named after him. He's a guy who was very instrumental with the Spartans. It's been a fun time all the way around.
Sonny, all the best, my friend, and we'll talk to you down the road. Thanks for all your time, your talent, and your treasure with the Daily Press and the Pilot.
Thank you, Greg. Have a great one.
Sonny Dearth right there from the Daily Press and the Pilot sports staff. Stay tuned.
Crawl Space Door Systems is a Virginia Beach company established in 1998. The owner, Billy Sykes, is a patent attorney, engineer, and inventor. He invented, patented, manufactured, and is selling unique crawl space products such as doors, air vents, ICC flood vents, polystakes, vent covers, and fans. He has 15 patents on various crawl space products. Go to crawlspacedoors.com to see all the unique products. Call 757-363-0005 today.
This segment is brought to you by Linda Matney Art Gallery. Go by and see John Lee Matney and the great staff right there, where art comes alive in Williamsburg. Always great exhibits, great shows, excellent website as well, lindamatneygallery.com. Give them a call at 757-675-6627. And of course, they are on Facebook, Linda Matney Gallery. Fine art, exquisite art. Don't let art vanish in Williamsburg. Right there at Linda Matney Art Gallery, the premier art gallery in Hampton Roads in Virginia, is the Linda Matney Art Gallery. They are on social media.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual and comfortable atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar is located at 4201 Granby Street and is a tradition in Norfolk. Call 640-7705 and log on to MiHogarMexicanRestaurant.com. At Mi Hogar, there's something for everyone.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, open in Yorktown. Go by and see Paul and his wonderful staff. High quality chicken fingers, fries, coleslaw, Texas toast. It is delicious. The great chicken sandwich, cane sauce, a kids menu, refreshing beverages, tailgates. They've got it all. Follow Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers on social media. They are open daily. Let's welcome Laura Stoner. She's in her 4th year as the athletic director at Hampton Roads Academy, a wonderful school in Newport News. How are you, Laura?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us about your background. You've gone to a lot of different schools on the peninsula and as an educator.
So I've been in education all my life. I've been in 2 schools in Virginia, but obviously Hampton Roads Academy the longest. This is my 21st year at HRA. I came here in 2003 after getting my master's in the art of teaching language arts, where your mother was my professor at CNU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I arrived here as a teacher coach in the middle school, teaching 7th grade English and coaching girls basketball, and then over time transitioned to the varsity position, where I was the coach for 18 years, and then now into the role of athletic director after Max Gillespie.
Of course, Max was there for a long time, and Laura, in her gracious school, hosts my mother's memorial tennis tournament with my former tennis coach, Marvin Hedgepath. We loved doing it there for several years. The event's been going on since 2001. And like I said, Laura knew my mother very well. Let's talk about some of the different sports. I got to get your thoughts, too, because you did coach women's basketball. Your thoughts on the whole Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, it's spectacular. I've seen a lot of players shoot the deep threes, but not the logo three with the regularity that she shot it, or shoots it, I should say. But what a fun March Madness it was, and what a great time it is for women's athletics to have, such a high percentage of people watching those games, and they were so well played, and it was just very exciting times.
And nothing seems to faze that young lady. She just is really on it at all times.
Very composed.
So talk about some of your team's opponents. You guys talk about the leagues that you play in. Of course, there's always an exciting game going on at HRA.
Well, thank you. We think so. Well, as you know, we're in the TCIS, the Tidewater Conference of Independent Schools, so that's a total of 10 schools, and we have one as, far up as Richmond, and then one down is in Virginia Beach. That's Stewart and Richmond, and Cape Henry and Virginia Beach, and then the rest of us in between. It's a really strong conference. I feel as though it's one of the most respected conference in the independent school world in Virginia, with that VISA, Virginia Independent Athletic Association. And so as far as our sports go, obviously we're in the spring season, so we have 5 varsity teams in action this spring. We've got baseball, golf, girls soccer, boys tennis, and track and field. And of those 5 teams, the 4 that could be ranked at the state level are currently ranked, so we're really proud of that. And the track and field athletes, we have quite a few who've qualified to compete in the state meet already, so we're proud of them as well.
For an AD like yourself, you have to keep track of grades and eligibility and scheduling, and a lot of your sports schedules are on your website, correct?
Yes. Our schedule can be found on our HRA page, hra.org, and then under athletics there's a calendar. But I think the easiest way to follow along is to follow our HRA Athletics Instagram page. Every morning I post a daily schedule, and then every Sunday I post a weekly schedule. So that's kind of the easiest way and the most visually pleasing way to follow along. We post those same things on Twitter as well, and for both of those things, it's just HRA Athletics at Instagram and at Twitter.
One thing about my buddy Marvin Hedgepath, who coaches, he always has a competitive team no matter how many players he loses from the previous year.
Yes, he does, and they're doing well. And we have a young team right now, but as you saw when you came out to host the tournament, there's a lot of talent there. So we're, not only proud of their current successes, but really excited about, future accomplishments with them. There's a good chemistry, and Marvin has a nicely run program. He is, as you know, has lots of experience. Probably one of, if not the winningest coach in the state of Virginia. So we're fortunate to have him with our boys.
Yeah, Marvin's a great guy. And, of course, thank you for all your time, your talent, your treasure. And the one thing talk about HRA as a school, because they have the young kids that go there at a beginning age all the way to 12th grade. So they really get to co-act and mingle with some of the older kids, too, which I think is really neat from a maturity standpoint.
Yes, so we're a pre-K 3 through 12 school, and one of my favorite things about being an athletic director, and in addition to celebrating student athlete successes and setting teams up for success, is planning community events where we can bring all three sections of the school together for events, and the little kids do look up to the older athletes so much, and that's really special to see those connections. And I really like when you can see the kids interacting with them in a way where you can tell they can't wait to be them. We had a couple events where we've even given out little autograph sheets for them to go get the autographs of the varsity players, and that's just been adorable to see those interactions.
Yeah, and of course, not to mention some of these kids will go to the games themselves and watch them.
Oh, yes. They'll be in the stands. We even have, incorporated them into like a little cheer group. So we've had some of our young lower school students join our varsity cheerleaders out on the court. So that has been really fun, making those connections with the lower school kids.
Your final thoughts on HRA as a school and, of course, academics, athletics, and activities?
Well, our mission is to prepare students to excel intellectually, artistically, physically, and morally, at HRA and beyond. And, I think we do that the best in the area. I'm really proud of the, product that we have here and the outcomes that come. This particular year, we're excited this spring. We're getting ready to have a ceremonial signing for our student athletes who are going to compete at the next level. We'll celebrate 6 of them next Wednesday, and we already celebrated 1 in the fall. So that'll be 7 of our seniors. So we're really proud of those accomplishments.
Talk about the private schools and HRA.
Yeah, one of the benefits of being a student athlete here is you can begin competing at the varsity level in grade 8. So, that's five years of varsity competition. So a lot of our kids will take advantage of that, and it's just a really positive experience for them for those 5 years to be able to play at that high level and to develop that strong relationship with the team members and the coaches in that program. So we've got a new head of school here this year. Jay Lasley came on in July, and he's a huge supporter of the athletic program. So we're really fortunate to have his leadership right now.
Great piece of real estate right there in Oyster Point. And Laura, all the best for you, and thank you for your time, your talent, your treasure, and all that you do for that wonderful school at Hampton Roads Academy.
I'm flattered to have been your guest today. Really appreciate all your support, and thank you for coming here annually to host that tournament. We're glad to be a part of it.
Yep, we'll stay in touch. Laura, all the best. Have a good rest of the spring and summer.
Okay, you too. Thanks, Greg.
Sakura Sushi Bar is now open in Virginia Beach. For one-of-a-kind dining experience, Sakura in Red Mill is a favorite of locals and tourists. Tasty sushi prepared fresh for you, as well as delicious entrees from the kitchen. This is the go-to place for sushi lovers. Enjoy lunch and dinner daily with some refreshing cocktails and adult beverages. Sakura Sushi Bar is located at 2137 Upton Drive and is open daily. Call 757-522-7288 and enjoy your next meal at Sakura Sushi Bar at Red Mill Commons. Matney Gallery consults for museum acquisitions and investment art for private and public collections in Virginia and elsewhere. They are specialists in Southern art and photography, international contemporary, and Virginia colleges. For more, log on to lindamatneygallery.com.
Sakura Japanese Restaurant in Chesapeake is your destination for excellent Japanese food, featuring fresh sushi and hot dishes prepared in the kitchen for lunch and dinner. Sakura is located at 1437 Sam's Drive at the Walmart Way Crossing. Oh Yummy Sushi is at the Renaissance Place at 401 North Great Neck Road in Virginia Beach. Both Sakura in Chesapeake and Oh Yummy Sushi in Virginia Beach are available with DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Pickup. Tasty Japanese food the way you want it is at Sakura and Oh Yummy Sushi.
So, what's Greg's problem?
I'm very mad!
God, I'm so mad right now!
I know you're mad. I know you're upset.
It's time for What Tees Greg Off.
Always fun to do What Tees Me Off. Kenny, having to listen to someone's conversation, no matter where you're at, while they're on the phone at an establishment, you're just trying to enjoy your meal.
If we wanted to know what you're saying, we'd go to your house.
Too many graphics on a TV commercial. Let's just try to keep it simple and clean. That's what we try to do with my company.
They have all that fine print at the bottom, especially the pharmaceutical ads.
Like, who's really going to read that? Employees who flat out don't care and do nothing to improve their place of business other than collect a paycheck.
Well, they're only making minimum wage, which is what, $50 an hour now?
When someone says, "What can I do for you?" basically they're just saying, let's get this done quick.
Can I help you?
How about this, Kenny? Vacant servers or bartenders who flat out disappear in the kitchen for minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. They don't want to make money?
What tees you off, Kenny?
Well, when you call customer service and they say to you, "I'm sorry, my computer's running really slow today." If I wanted self-service and a slow computer, I would have done it myself.
Exactly.
When you give to a charity, I'm sure this has happened to you, and then you get inundated with more mail, and they send you all kinds of crap like a free gift inside, and it's return address labels. When's the last time I sent a letter to anyone? I don't need return address labels.
You got it.
And notifications on my smartphone every 2 seconds. Ding, ding, ding. I guess I could shut them off. I'm going to shut them off.
And Kenny, how about this? When you get these customer service surveys after a phone call, then you're bombarded with being on their email list, and all you wanted to do was get off the phone anyway. That's what tees us off. Thank you for listening to Sports Scene. Always great to connect. At Greg Bick on YouTube. That's GREGBIC. Subscribe. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hrsmhof.com, and hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. Also connect with me on LinkedIn, Greg Bicouvaris, and also Facebook, Greg Bicouvaris as well. Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris is on the Audacy app and Audacy.com. Thank you. Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville and Virginia Beach, open daily for lunch and dinner. Mike and the staff will take good care of you. Burgers, steaks, salads, appetizers, desserts, and much more. Great atmosphere, nice bar, spacious dining room. 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Great lunch and dinner, late night at Buffalo Wild Wings. Delicious food, wings, appetizers, beverages, all the games on TV. Open 7 days a week. Like Buffalo Wild Wings on Facebook. Friendly and hardworking staff. Jefferson Avenue in Newport News by Patrick Henry Mall. And welcome back to Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Always produced by Audacy and the Audacy app, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube as well. Joining us in the studio, it's our pleasure to have Megan Riggs, CEO and founder at Crunchy Hydration in Virginia Beach. She is from Hampton Roads, which I love. She didn't have to move anywhere. She's right here. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
I guess it all started with a dream when you were at Norfolk Christian, kind of your entrepreneurial type skills.
You want the long or the short story, Greg?
Both.
All right, we'll do the long story made short. So Born and raised in Virginia Beach, love the 757. My business would not be where it is today without this community and support from just the ecosystem in the entrepreneur life. But anyways, went to Nova Christian, went to UVA, moved out to LA after that, spearheading West Coast operations for a global training company, seemingly doing amazing from the outside, looking in, making a lot of money, but I was not happy. So dealing with anxiety, depression, classic millennial, quit my job, gave away everything I owned, bought a one-way ticket to Thailand and was like, I'm going to figure this out holistically. So moved to Thailand, fell in love with just a simple life, cold pressed juices, moved back to this area, started my first beverage business, Crunchy Carrot. And then it just expanded into mindfulness for the consumer market at large through hydration. So that's our mission with Crunchy, is to be more than just a beverage. It's to improve mental and physical health through mindful hydration.
And the great thing about that is, like you said, you step back, you went to Los Angeles, you went overseas, you kind of looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I'm happy where my home is. This is my home. And with the internet, there's nothing you can't do.
100%. And coming back here, like I said, business would not be where it is without this ecosystem. And you can do anything from anywhere, which is so cool.
Right. That's how I met you. You know, that's how people meet these days, folks. It's welcome to 2024, 2025. And of course, everybody's got a story. Your story is really neat, like you just said.
It was fun. Just me and my backpack. It was a journey. I think I went to 15 different countries.
But Virginia Beach is where your heart is.
But Virginia Beach is where my heart is, and I missed it. I missed this area.
And I think when you're happy where you're living at, it's easier to sell the product that you're selling and have peace of mind every day you wake up. You can always go back and travel to the West Coast or Thailand if you wanted to.
100%. And it's great to be headquartered here, have roots here. It's an amazing place to start a family, start a business, and like you said, you can travel wherever you want.
Yeah, let's talk about some of your drinks and some of the different products. I'm curious about, you said carrot at first, but let's talk about all the different crunch products and CBD.
Yeah, so I am drinking the Elevate right now, which is 50 milligrams of caffeine from green tea, 15 milligrams of CBD, holy basil. Every can has 200 milligrams of L-theanine, which I could go on and on. Cut me off, Greg. But L-theanine is amazing for your brain. It helps with stress, anxiety, brain function. In your hand, you have the Energize, which you're about to crack open. So we'll get a live review of that. But it's green tea, goji berry for your muscles, recovery, Himalayan salt, 200 milligrams of L-theanine. And you're just going to feel this amazing sustained focus. And there's not a single competitor out there making a product as clean as ours. I mean, it's 0 cal, 0 sugar, and truly nothing added. So it's a very light herbal, it's an acquired taste. It's crunchy.
And like you said, it's the ingredients that make it so fresh tasting, and it's invigorating.
And it's made with love, They think I'm crazy at the co-packing facility, but I'm like, you got to be in a good mood when you make this. And it is truly made with love and a lot of intention. So every can has a different blend of adaptogens and focused on a different energy center. So whether you need gut health, muscle soreness, sleep, we have it all.
And different flavors.
I'm
really impressed too, because, I do a lot of marketing, and how you're doing it from the ground floor about marketing yourself with your product. It's a great 1-2 combination.
Yeah. And speaking of flavors, so we're experimenting. This is in the works. Would love y'all's feedback. So if you want to comment, message us. We're deciding between a strawberry basil, ginger peach, or a cucumber mint. So let us know what you vote.
Yeah, let's talk about all the ways people can get a hold of you.
So Instagram, Facebook, it's at Crunchy Hydration. Online, our website, crunchyhydration.com. You can go there, see all of our locations. We are now in Whole Foods, Kroger, Wegmans, Giant Martin's, tons of local cool shops.
The future of these drinks, a lot of people saw in the early 2000s the high energy drinks. You're seeing all types of energy drinks, and a lot of times it's crash and burn. These are natural and fresh.
Yeah, and 200 milligrams for me is too much because I'm so thirsty and I want to drink more. So with these, you could have 2 of them compared to another energy drink, or if you had 2, you're like, I do not need 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Right. And I tell you one thing too, Megan, when you're out and about with the weather changing, as we're evolving from spring to summer, you work all day, you're grinding, you're talking to clients. At the end of the day, your tank is physically and mentally empty. These definitely help.
And did you know that 70% of us are chronically dehydrated? So this is you're not gonna need to drink as much water because it's hydrating you on a deeper cellular level. So you're just gonna feel more refreshed and hydrated.
Even before you go to bed at night, you can dehydrate there. You'd think you're not thirsty, but you really are. So many different factors. Look at the weather right now in the month of April. We've had our heat on this month, air conditioned at the same time, the ceiling fan, and what happens there is dust.
And we had a frost warning last night, I think.
Yeah, and it's almost May, so it is what it is. But all these drinks are really good. I like the different varieties, and talk about all the different varieties you have that you've touched.
Yeah, so we start with the root chakra. So that's your stabilize. It's going to have dandelion, licorice, good for gut health, nausea, gentle detox. We have the energize, which is mango, goji berry, green tea, and then the elevate, which is lime. Love that one. Holy basil, green tea, CBD, and then we have the calm, which is our number one seller, aloe vera, chamomile. Really good for muscle soreness, stress relief. The Om, which is 100% of your daily vitamin D. Rosemary for immune and memory support, CBD. And then the Bliss, that's pretty new. 50 milligrams of CBD, lavender flower, lemon balm. It is like my wine alternative. I put it in a wine glass and I drink it at night. It's magical.
There you go. You mix it up with a little bit too. So give us your advice on what you recommend for a first-time consumer of your wonderful product.
I would say head on over to Wegmans and try the Watermelon Calm. That's our fan favorite.
That is it.
And just start with taking a moment for you. Like when you take a can, take a sip, close your eyes, and just be grateful that you have access to clean water, and it's self-care in a can. Take a moment.
I love that, because we all need to take more moments, really do. And you talk about, again, what's in the bottle. It's amazing the freshness that you taste when you first drink it. And of course, people can get a hold of you on LinkedIn. You're on Facebook. You're on a lot of different platforms.
We try and be on all the platforms. We just got a TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to keep up with the kids these days. So follow us at Crunchy Hydration.
That's it. CEO and founder at Crunchy Hydration. Where'd you get the crunchy part from?
It started with the carrot. I had a really bad juicer at first before I got my commercial juicer, and it was literally pulpy, crunchy. I smashed almonds in it, and my little brother came up with a name, and it just stuck, and then it evolved into a lifestyle. So to be crunchy or to get crunchy is to live a life of intention and mindfulness.
And leave us with talk about the future. What are your future goals with this, and how far can it evolve?
I think that the grocery stores will kind of show us what flavors and SKUs and functionality continue to be the top sellers. It seems like everyone's looking for a relaxed yet focused state of mind. And we'll expand nationally through the grocery stores. And then also we'll build upon the community. So not just being a beverage, but how can we help truly make an impact on mental and physical health through yoga, free breathing exercises, different recipes. So continuing to evolve, maybe develop a crunchy app, have little health guru avatars thanks to AI and ChatGPT, but really just evolving to be more than just a beverage and having people take a moment for themselves.
Right. Like you said, take a moment. This goes with your mental health. Mental health is so important, and you need something to stay hydrated. Like Megan said, we need to drink even when we're not thirsty. This is the perfect product to drink. Crunchy hydration. I've got the mango product. It's really good, and I highly recommend it. Megan, we'll have to do this again.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Right there. Megan Riggs joining us in the studio here. All powered by Audacy. Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris will continue after these messages. Want to thank Aramark. Aramark Refreshment Services. Great coffee, water, snacks, and much more. Supplies and vending. They do great service at the Newport News Shipyard and other leading companies in Hampton Roads. Local, USA, and countries abroad. Aramark is a name you can count on. Google Aramark Refreshment Services. Like them on Facebook. Aramark, thank you so much. Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris, inviting you to listen to my podcast Sports Scene by going to YouTube and typing Greg Bic. That's GREGBIC. Sports Scene is an informative interview show featuring local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests. We do a fun segment called What Teased Me Off as well. For more, log on to gjbtv.com, subscribe to Greg Bic on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at Greg Bic. Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris is on the Audacy app and Audacy.com. Let's welcome Lee Matney from Matney Gallery in Williamsburg. Lee, how are you, my friend?
Very good, thank you.
Lee, explain what Matney Gallery is, very distinguished, and the consultancy that you do and how they do things differently from other projects.
Well, Matney Gallery specializes in Southern art from Virginia colleges. We are doing a lot with Houston, Texas right now. We're bringing art to the area that would normally not be seen here. We represent the artists for the long term.
Very nice. Explain the connection of the gallery in Williamsburg to Athens, Georgia. You're really big into Athens, Georgia. You travel there several times a year, about the art and the music scene.
Yes, well, I went to University of Georgia for undergraduate. In Athens, I knew many artists there, and we started with only Athens, Georgia artists, and some were connected to the music scene there. There's many different connections to the arts. It goes back to the B-52s and REM that connect to some of the artists we represent.
Art is very nice. Williamsburg is a very beautiful area there. Comment on the photography that you have at the gallery, because one thing about your gallery in Williamsburg, that it's always evolving.
We have projects with the college. Sometimes we collaborate, and we'll bring in an artist from London. We recently brought in an artist from Houston, Texas. Grayson Chandler, his work, his abstract art is on display now. He's collected by the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. So we're always looking. Steve Prince, Director of Engagement of Muscarelli Museum, has work in our gallery. We work with the college, the students for their capstone show at William & Mary every year. So it's somewhat of a laboratory for collectors and artists to build new bridges and build a bigger art scene here.
Tell us about what your favorite part of the gallery is and how people can get a hold of you.
MatneyGallery.com, 757-675-6627 is our telephone number.
757-675-6627. Lee Matney is on Facebook and also LinkedIn as well. Talk about the intersections with museum projects. That's important to you.
Many of our patrons are part of historical art collections. We've also done shows in Houston, Texas for Art Rosenbaum, professor at University of Georgia, and his friends, and that intersects with Howard Finster and self-trained artists. So we had a show at Muscarelli. We were part of a show at Muscarelli for self-taught art called Spectrum of Creativity, which included Lynn Jenkins, who's one of the artists we represent, in his 80s. There are many different intersections that we don't even know will be there, and then it happens. It's kind of like the gravitas of the art world. It's kind of a living entity in some ways.
Matney Fine Art Gallery and Consulting. Lee Matney is a curator located at 5435 Richmond Road in beautiful Williamsburg. Their phone number is 757-675-6627. Lee, what is and of course the website, lindamatneygallery.com. Lee, what is the future of your gallery?
The future is more exciting art for collectors in Virginia and onto the next level, more closer to New York or Los Angeles, in my opinion. We mentor students. We have a student from William & Mary who will have a show in the summer, a photographer. You'll see more photography, you'll see more painting, you'll see more intersections internationally. We have many artists from even outside of the United States we have artists, a couple of artists who are in the collection of music of modern art. If you come to our gallery, you can see our catalogs and see presentations on many of these artists.
A lot of good stuff on the website, Matney Gallery, lindamatneygallery.com, artists, current contact information about Lee Matney, Art Rosenbaum, and the great story, and what a wonderful cause it is in honor of his mother. Lee, all the best. Give us your final thought.
Well, I'm just excited to be working on art projects in Virginia and bringing art to Virginia that normally would not be seen and to a new audience.
All the best, and you're always having shows at your gallery, too, so those are always fun, and those are free, correct?
Yes, they're all free, definitely.
LindaMatneyGallery.com. Lee Matney, all the best, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
A tradition of excellence for over 50 years is the Aberdeen Barn Steakhouse in Virginia Beach. Start your experience off with she crab soup, an assortment of appetizers such as the fried oyster Rockefeller, crispy calamari, just to name a few. Aberdeen Barn has the finest premium steaks, prime rib, grilled tomahawk ribeye, seafood, chicken, pasta dishes, and live music in a most pleasing atmosphere. Open daily. Visit them at 5805 Northampton Boulevard in Virginia Beach. Call 464-1580 and log on to aberdeenbarn.net. I
want to thank our guests on the April edition of Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. For more, go to gjbtv.com, click the YouTube link, and a very special happy birthday to Maria in Maryland as well. I want to thank our great guests today. Excellent show produced by Ken Carson. It was Sonny Dearth, Laura Stoner, Megan Riggs, and Lee Matney. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Find Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris on the Audacy app and wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube as well. We'll talk to you soon.